Jess, I have to say right off the top, thank you very much for making time for me, because as we speak, we're only like literally a week and a few days away from Canada's biggest music event. Of course, we're talking about the Junos, and CBC, a huge part of that. How busy is it for you guys trying to get things organized and getting to Saskatoon and kicking off this great party celebrating Canadian music?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be chatting with you. It is busy. Oh, my goodness. We're shipping out next week, so we've got people leaving throughout the week and getting us all set up, and then events start at the end of the week for us. So, yeah, it's definitely a scramble, but, you know, we've done this for a few years now, and it's really neat to see it all come together.
Now, CBC and CBC Music, you folks do a lot of things for folks who are not just in Saskatoon, but for folks who are just fans of the Junos and want to experience it but can't be there. Yeah. You guys have a lot of events and a lot of ways that people can. What are some of the things that people can get involved with to be part of the Juno experience? Totally.
Well, what we say is that, you know, wherever you are in the world, you can participate in the Juno Awards. So we have several different live streams that will be going up throughout Juno Week. And honestly, the home base for everything is really cbcmusic.ca/Junos. But you can also participate on social media. You can watch on CBC Gem. You can watch on YouTube. So really, wherever you are and wherever you typically consume your events, you can find Juno events, which is great.
What are some of the streams that we're going to get a chance to see? Is this from events that are going on throughout that time?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can start to live stream CBC Music Juno Week events on March 13th, so that's next week. And some of the events that are obviously happening in Saskatoon, but there's a number of different ways you can watch them online, are CBC Music's Juno Fest Jazz Showcase. We have a Juno Fest Classical Showcase. We have the 2020 Juno Gala Dinner and Awards. So that's when a number of the awards are handed out the night before the actual Juno Awards broadcast. On the Juno Awards Day, which we also call Music Day on CBC, which is a really great multi-platform celebration of music the day of the Junos leading into the broadcast, we have the Juno Songwriter Circle, which is really sort of the jewel of Juno Week. It's a really neat event. And then after that, we get right into the red carpet and right into the Juno Awards. And following the Juno Awards, we have an extra special treat that we've done for a few years now, which is kind of the unofficial after party, and that's CBC Music's Playlist Live, where Juno-involved and Juno-nominated artists who are in town come together after the fact for awesome collaborations, live covers, and it just sort of tops off the whole week. So everything I just mentioned, you can watch online and you can consume on, you know, TV and radio, and then all of the digital mediums and social media as well.
I'm going to emphasize very much on that playlist and what you talked about, because I've been to the after parties, and what folks are going to get a chance to see and hear may be the only time those type of collaborations will ever happen again. It's almost like a once in a lifetime.
Absolutely. It is a really, really special party. And the fact that we live stream it, I mean, it does mean you have to stay up a little bit late, but you can watch it after the fact because we've got all of our streams on demand and clipped out for people later once everything is wrapped. But it is a really special night. People come together and, you know, we just want to make sure people know about it because especially this year, I can't say anything just yet. The announcement's coming soon, but we've got some really, really cool collaborations, some really cool appearances. And, yeah, it's just sort of like everyone kind of kicking their shoes off after a big week, you know?
Now, something else you mentioned earlier about social media. Folks should follow Juno's CBC Music, because the things that I've been seeing popping up, and like I said, we haven't even gotten to the week yet, amazing, because you hear from the nominees and so many other people, too.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously following the Junos, you get everything up to the minute. You get all of, you know, the actual sort of granular updates and announcements. But then following us, you get a lot of that, but you also get a lot of really cool original content. We're going to have all sorts of writers and reporters and video folks on the ground creating a lot of cool stuff. Obviously, it's around the Junos, but really at the end of the day, this is just a huge celebration of Canadian music. So absolutely follow us online because we're going to be at every event putting out tons of great stuff, and it will really feel like you're there at the end of the day.
Now, of course, one last question. Me being, of course, the old guy who still remembers the Junos from back in the 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s, and so forth and so on. going on to cbcmusic.ca, are we able to see content from the past?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And on our social platforms as well, we really like to highlight what we call vault content. So you can find old clips, you can find stories from Juno's past, you can find old video footage. Like, we've got access to so much wonderful content relating to Juno's past. And even if you're reading a new article about the Junos in present years and contemporary years, the chances that we've also included, throwbacks to some of the great stuff from decades past are really high, because we've just got access to such a breadth of information and content around the Junos. So that is really the hub for everything you could want at cbcmusic.ca/Junos. And we really, really try to highlight the present and the future, but we also love celebrating the past.
Okay, so even though you just said it one more time so people know exactly, where do we go to get our belly full of Junos? Where do we go one more time?
Everything Juno related can be found at cbcmusic.ca/Junos.
I have taken way too much of your time. I know you got to get to other meetings. And
Not at all. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I'll see you in Saskatoon, and looking forward to talking to you again, and looking forward to being able to be part of all of this experience. And thank you to the CBC and CBC Music for making this all happen. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you there.